Hey, it's me, MLB. Here is chapter 38 of BNHA Second Generation, and this one is titled Need. Hello, it is I, warning about adult content that's coming up. I will cut it out for YouTube purposes, but I will put the link in the description as I usually do, so that you can find it on my book site and read it there. I'll chop it off before things get too spicy, and I'll pick it up again when things have simmered right down. I did manage to find time to ring the manager of Rarefind to let him know the students would be in tomorrow to do a bit of reconnaissance and find out more about the workers there. Hiyoko said as he passed Kana a carrot for him to peel. Kana nodded. So while they are doing work there, what will we be doing in the office? Paperwork? You can stay in my office if you like. We can do some other things between writing and official documents. Hiyoko's cheeky smirk distracted Kana again, and the sensing hero turned and punched his boyfriend's arm. You are making me embarrassed, he signed before covering his face. If you do not stop, then I'll have to teach you a lesson why you should not turn me on. Turn you on? Hiyoko replied with surprise. Did it really work like that? Kana put his chopping knife down and turned to Hiyoko, their lips meeting heavily as Kana pushed Hiyoko back against the kitchen wall. As they kissed, Kana rocked his hips forward again. It was a noise in the apartment hallway that woke Hiyoko the next morning, and he stirred sleepily and popped an eye open and looked around. For a second he wondered where he was, then he remembered that he'd stayed over at Kana's the night before, and he lifted his wing quickly to have a look. There was Kana, curled up under it, still fast asleep, and Hiyoko smiled and relaxed again. He looked over at the curtains and saw that it was quite bright outside already, so he reached for his watch to check the time. 9:03. His eyes snapped wide open and he cursed internally but quite loudly, not realising that Kana could hear him through his feathers that were touching his body. The sensing hero jumped awake and Hiyoko sprang naked from the bed. What? What is the problem? Kana signed, looking around with confusion. We have to be at the agency in less than half an hour, Hiyoko said as he ran to get his clothes back on. Take your time. I'll go now because I can fly direct, and you come when you gotten dressed and had breakfast. I will make you breakfast and bring it, Kana signed as Hiyoko yanked his shirt on and then grabbed his socks and shoes. Thanks, Kana, that'll be great, Hiyoko said before running up to the bed, kissing his boyfriend, and then dashing to the balcony door. In one swift movement, he ripped the door open and then stepped out and threw himself off the railing, taking off across the city at top speed. Kana shook his head with an internal chuckle as he lay back down and stared at the ceiling for a bit. I am so happy we got intimate last night. I love him. Then he remembered what day it was. It's Friday, mission day, for the intern students. It will be an exciting day for them. Happily he got out of bed and walked to the bathroom to have a shower before making breakfast for him and Hiyoko and casually walking to work. Hi Ginny, Ginny greeted brightly as she skipped into the kitchen. Hey baby, Red Riot greeted her, turning to give her a hug. It's the big day today, she said as she wrapped her comparatively little arms around his very solid middle. Oh, the secret mission that you've been doing homework on? He said in a whisper, glancing around to make sure that no one else was in the room. Good luck. Remember to always stay in character when you're doing reconnaissance. Right, she said with a confident head nod. I hope I can tell you all about it later, Dad. I've been so excited for today to happen. I know you have, he chuckled. This is what being a hero is all about. It's very manly. And womanly, Dad. Womanly is cool too. We're badasses. Oh, of course. Your mum is the baddest of them all, he said with a grin as she entered the room, a very clever segue into another topic so that he and Ginny's secret conversation about the mission wouldn't be uncovered. Anyway, I've got to go. Bye, Dad. Bye, Mum, Ginny said quickly before running to the door. What was that all about? Mrs. Kirishima asked her husband as he pulled her in for a hug and then kissed her on the cheek. Secret hero stuff, he replied with a wink. Oh, I see, she hummed with a giggle, allowing him to wrap his strong arms around her and snuggle his head into her neck. Dad, she hollered down the hallway. I'm going. Don't screw it up, his dad yelled back. As if I would, she shouted in reply. That's my boy. Dad? Soshi asked as he poked his head into the study, his orange eyes finding the chair next to the desk that his father always sat in. Yes, Shoto asked, turning his chair and looking at his son. I'm going now. It's the day today. Shoto nodded. Keep your wits about you. Okay, Dad, Soshi replied before turning and walking away from the room, heading for the front door and off for the day. Amazingly, Hiyoko made it to the agency before everyone else arrived, and he dropped down onto the roof and sprinted for the stairs that led to his level. Did I make it in time? He asked himself as he rounded the corner and didn't see anyone standing outside his office door. Oh, thank God I'm early. He slowed his run to a jog and then stopped at his door and unlocked it, letting himself inside and flicking the lights on. Oh, hey, Nuggy! Brian's bright voice greeted through the doorway as he entered shortly after his nephew. Bri, Hiyoko greeted with a big smile as he turned around to face his uncle. As they embraced, Jasmine walked in, dragging her massive makeup kit and rack of clothes. Are these for the interns? Hiyoko queried, walking over to see the set. Oh, not all of them, sweet buns. God, that would look a mess if they wore all those clothes at once. Mercy! Brian said emphatically as he waved his hand around in an erratic manner. No, boo-boo, I bought all these clothes just in case when you do a little swapsy-poos at last minute. Hiyoko raised his pierced eyebrow, but didn't say any more. And it's a good thing that the room was silent at that point, because that's when the students arrived. Hi everyone, Ginny greeted the room of people. Oh, sugar, I'm so happy to see you, Brian gushed. Come here, give Brian a proper hello. She grinned and walked over, letting Brian give her a flamboyant hug and then chant some affirmations around her. Love and light, lift this queen, set her on higher ground, amen, he sung softly, flicking his hands out before clapping them together to signal the end of the ritual. Thanks, Bri, I'm so excited for today, Ginny squealed. Oh, I am too, honey buns, Brian replied. Now, let me bless these boys. He did a similar ritual for both Soshi and Chi, and then let them go. Hiyoko, would you prefer us to set up in the debrief room? Jasmine asked Hiyoko. Yeah, that might be good, Hiyoko replied. Kana and I will be doing some work in here, so we'll need a bit of quiet. Jasmine nodded, and Brian gave Hiyoko a leering look. What? Hiyoko asked in a soft voice when he saw the look on his uncle's face. Oh, nothing, honey baby. You just keep shining, Brian said before turning his attention back to the students and clapping his hands to get their attention. Okay, babies, let's tippy-toe down the hall and start getting you all ready for the big day today. So much fun! Ah! He quickly ushered the students and Jasmine out into the hall and then off down to the debriefing room, and Hiyoko was left in his office alone. What a whirlwind morning. He reached up into his hair and scrubbed it, and then dragged his fingers down the front of his face and around the back of his neck, and then tilted his head up to the ceiling. Good thing it's a Friday and we have the weekend to relax. I guess today will be easy with the interns at Rare Fine. Maybe I should take Kana out for dinner tonight, then maybe back to my place. He smirked and then dropped his head back to neutral and sat back on the edge of the desk. Guess I better get a little bit of work done before Kana gets here. And there ends chapter 38. Stay tuned for chapter 39 coming tomorrow.